think
so than
last
usual.
week we decided beanbags are the worst.
We did. I would like to retract and say that the floor is the worst.
Hi guys! Welcome to Beanbag and Startup, because Bob was lame this week and forgot his beanbags. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Bob.
And today we're going to be talking about some more cool startups that we found.
While I sit on the floor.
While Bob sits on the floor because he sucks.
So uncomfortable. The first sort of company/product that we'll talk about is, and I don't know the official pronunciation, so I'm going to go with HEBI, but it's HEBI Robotics. And they have a really cool system that they've developed where it's almost like modular robotics, which means you kind of like build it yourself. So their tagline is robotics as simple as Legos. And with a son at home who will be 5 in 2 weeks, happy early birthday, Lincoln, Legos are huge at our house. And my son loves all things robots and building and creating. And this concept that you could kind of get almost like a robot kit and build not a toy, but like an actual robot, but do it at home and have kind of this like production grade, can help around the house robot that you built is pretty awesome. It did look very technical. They did talk about their sensors and their linear actuators and their balance mechanisms and all of this.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I could see where there would be a lot of complexity there. And I think that really highlights a challenge that they could face in terms of creating this product for a kind of the market, because they were all from a robotics lab out of a university, so I'm sure they're all like these brilliant robotics people, and we'll have to really build with the lowest common denominator in mind. So like you and me who get it and are just like, what is this part? And we don't know. You know, something that they're going to have to think through, and I think is really a challenge for a lot of startups, is inventory, because they've got robots that you can sort of build and create, and from what I gathered from the video, they're not all identical. And so, you know, it seems like a lot of their parts and stuff are going to be very expensive to build and manufacture, and probably complex because they're robots. And so it can't be one of these things where someone calls and places an order for a robot and then they call their factory and say, okay, now we want to place an order. You know, they probably have to have it on hand, which means they're going to have to understand the market, really do some very good forecasting through sales and marketing efforts, and then have a really good relationship with that manufacturing partner to get these parts made, to have them ready, to ensure the quality, because the other side of it is if I buy a robot and they look expensive, you know, they look very nice, and something doesn't work, I want it to be fixed quickly.
My startup is actually a Kickstarter project this week, and it is called Javi.
Javi.
It is a telescoping. It is a telescoping arm with a rubber thing on the end that lets you punch people from far away distances. Mm-hmm. And it is a game, mm-hmm. and it can track how fast and how hard you are punching, and then it lets you compete with your, like, punch your friends and it'll tell them how hard you hit them. And then you can box safely because the rubber thing on the end makes it safe. Mm-hmm. I immediately wanted one, not necessarily to see how fast and hard I was punching, but these things are really long. So my friends wear headphones, and sometimes I'm talking to them and they can't hear me, and I don't want to get up to like tap them on the shoulder, so just like bop them in the back of the head. One thing that I did think was interesting is, like I said, it's a Kickstarter video, and in their video, he actually did talk about the prototyping process a little bit, and I thought that was interesting. So he kind of talked about building it to telescope versus other ways of having, you know, sort of like this retractable arm. Mm-hmm. And then I also thought it was interesting how he showed the underneath the rubber part, mm-hmm. where it has the accelerometer, mm-hmm. and things like that, and he went a little bit into how that worked.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because he goes through several iterations of his prototyping, and I think that's a really good lesson for startups in particular, is that 99% of the time it's going to take way more iterations than you think. But this is a physical product. He's made this thing that telescopes and punches, and you punch your friends, but he's got these sensors in it as well. And the reason he's done that is because there's an app. People sometimes neglect how important the software component is in hardware products. because just having this device is one thing, but you then have to have the sensors that are taking readings, taking them accurately, that are transmitting data to the app. You have to come up with a way to either charge or replace your battery. You've got to get an app built. You've got to do all this stuff, and that's costly as well. And really getting the whole package together requires that expertise. And I think that's another area where we really see in the Makersource community people who have underestimated the time and the cost.
That's all we have for you guys today. If you guys want to see anything that we talked about, we have all of the articles and stories that we read down in the description. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.